So maybe we can start.
Perfect.
So first of all, welcome everybody to this session, to this talk that Inma and myself will perform today. How is it going so far, the event? Good? Nice. It's the second year that I come to this event, and it's getting even better. Cool. So here we are, Inma and myself, to talk you kind of a story, a history, right? We want to share with you our experiences working in an hypergrowth company at the time of hiring profiles like software engineers, engineering managers, and alike. So maybe we can start with kind of a warm-up. From this beloved audience, who is working as software engineer? Okay. Now, who is working in the talent acquisition or HR or so? Good. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Okay, and from all of you, who is working now or will work in a company that is in hypergrowth or will go into hypergrowth? Good, good. That's expected. That's expected answer, because it's not so common. Also, and you will see, because the period of the hypergrowth is kind of short and could come and go. So, Inma, when was the first time that you and I meet?
We met in 2020. I remember that our first meeting was through Zoom because there were a lot of restrictions because of COVID. It was a long time ago. Can you believe that?
Wow. This was Malta, actually, in the kickoff that we had there. Have you been in this photo?
Yes, indeed. It was a really exciting exciting times for us. And as Marcos said, this picture was taken from our annual kickoff that year.
Correct. So Inma and I, we are working at Nexthink. Nexthink is a tech company that has a product to sell to our beloved customers, and it's a unicorn company, and face already the phase of hypergrowth. Okay. So from here, if you want to know more about Nexthink, I would be super happy to tell you after the session. We can talk, I can explain you what is the product, how it's working at Nexthink, I can tell you amazing things. The mission of Nexthink is delight people at work. Super nice marketing sentence. Let's keep it like that. And let's go to the real business. Inma, what we will be talking about now?
Perfect. Apart you are involved in the hiring processes of your companies, so I guess you decided to attend this talk because, you know, talent acquisition, talent attraction are essential in many organizations. Marcos and I think these too. So today we would like to share our experience about working at a unicorn company in a hypergrowth phase and all challenges that this phase implies. So I can spoiler you related to the challenges that we face. We get successful results because talent and the engineering departments build a really strong synergy between each other.
Correct. So I already hear a couple of keywords here. Processes, synergies, keep it in mind because we will come back to that later. So at this stage, Inma, maybe we can start to put some more of context, right? We are like 2 minutes or even a bit more that we started to talk, and the words hypergrowth, unicorn appear at least twice, 3 times, right? Maybe we can settle a little bit this context. What is hypergrowth? What is a unicorn company?
Perfect. First of all, we would like to share this picture with you. This is the growth of Nexthink during the last years. So as you can see, there are 3 arrows. These 3 arrows indicate hypergrowth phases. We went through 2, and one of them is a rapid growth phase. The first one and the second one are hypergrowth phases, and the third one is a rapid growth phase. But what hypergrowth means? We said a company is in a hypergrowth stage when the company grows 40% or more for more than 40%, and a rapid growth is called or is defined when the company grows between 20 and 40%. all of this is based on compound annual growth rate. So, as you can see, Nexthink growth has been challenging during the last years. And of course, a hypergrowth time, it's a significant moment for engineering and talent department, basically because engineering has an ambitious product roadmap goals, and talent has to help them to get these goals, hiring more talent for them. So, Marcos, can you tell us how was your experience during these growth phases?
Yeah, I remember these times, and I was pointing out to this jump, amazing jump. What I remember, hiring interviews all over the place. Look at this. Oopa, too much. Go one more. This one. This is a real calendar. Of course, I anonymized the names, right? Menganito is not a real person, or Menganita either, right? I mean, I don't know a Menganita or Menganito, but I know a Rivas, I know a Carrion, I know a Sanchez. This is my real calendar at that time. You can see, I mean, I had to code as well, right? I had to do many things as engineer, but a part of that, I had to do this. Why? Because it was important. It's important to you when your CTO comes and say, Inma, Marcos, hiring is the priority. Boom, you have a calendar like this. You can see that even during lunchtime, in the afternoon, come on, Friday, 5 p.m. Yes, it happened. So also, what I remember having this journey was about that we were slow, Inma. I remember that we were slow. And not only because we had to review technical assessments from the engineering and so on and so forth. We were slow because our communication, the language that we were using, thank you. The language that we were using was not the same, right, Inma?
Yeah.
So,
well, we know what is hypergrowth, and for people who don't know what is a unicorn company, a company is named as a unicorn when its value exceeds $1 million. So this happened when they close a really good round of financing, or a huge investor is included in their board. In 2021, Nexthink closed $180 million, Series D, and we became a unicorn company. We gave all our colleagues a unicorn mask. Well, this didn't happen, but it could have been fun. But in addition, it was a really important challenge for us to be in this time, right, Marcos?
Indeed it was. So at this stage, we talk about hypergrowth, we talk about unicorn company, what does it mean? And now maybe it's the time that we started to put up a little bit, to settle a little bit some concepts, and we can start maybe with a timeline, Inma.
Exactly.
Shit.
If we take a global perspective, we can see that in 2019, we have COVID. Here we have to change the remote working policy, and it implies change our company culture. In 2020, we enter in a hyper-growth phase, so we needed to analyze and refine our hiring processes to get that ambitious product roadmap goals. In 2021, we keep growing, we figure out our own recruitment receipt, and we try to homogenize all hiring processes in the Madrid team. In 2022, sadly, we had an economic crisis and we decided to slow down and hire wisely. So we had less hiring processes. And finally, in 2023, currently, we decide to take this time as an opportunity to work in our company brand and spread our word. So this is the global perspective. Let's talk about challenges.
Exactly. You were talking about communication. I don't know if you know this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe the oldest in the room knows this movie, or maybe everybody. I would love that everybody tell me, yeah, I know this movie. This movie is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. In Spanish, No me chilles que no te veo. This is a movie from end of the 80s, kind of 89, if I recall properly. And this is a comedy, of course, about two persons. One is deaf and the other one is blind. that a murder happened in front of their shop, and they are the main suspects, and they have to figure it out who performed the murder, because otherwise they are guilty. So you can imagine the amount of situations on which these two persons with different ways of communication had to work together in order to solve the problem, the goal that we have, right? So slowly, there you are. Let's start a little bit with the challenges, okay? Now, from here, we put a little bit of context, and now we will talk about the challenges. We will do like a general overview, but after that, we will go little by little for each of the challenges, and not tell you the challenges, but also, I think it's worth it, we will explain you our solutions, the solutions that we found, and hopefully could help you as well in your journey for this. So in this case, in terms of engineering, many challenges. This picture for me tries to picture exactly that, the amount of challenges that you have in front of you in these kind of situations. For example, when you are hiring a person, how do you ensure that it's the right person? Has the right technical skills, even though you provide and you offer technical assessments and so on and so forth, passes, not passes, but is the real fit? Is a cultural fit? Is a person that can fit in the mission and the vision of the company? Great challenges. Inma.
Totally. And regarding the talent acquisition team in a hyper-growth phase, the main challenge we had to face were related to the high volume of positions we had. So at the beginning, as Marcos said, we were so slow. So we needed to be faster to get these goals. And the first thing we tried to do is to understand why engineering and talent departments spoke different languages, because this situation provoked different problems, misalignments. Well, we couldn't get the right results that we wanted. So the first things we wanted to work on, it was to homogenize all hiring processes in Madrid team, because we live experiences like for same profiles, depending on the hiring manager, you have to set different technical assessments. They have defined different hiring stages, and it was crazy for same profiles, for same roles. So the first challenge we have to face was related to the technical assessment. It was a big deal, indeed. From the talent acquisition team, we decided to encourage engineering teams, hiring managers to put all their concerns, all the skills they wanted to assess in the candidates together to define a fair, attractive, and interesting technical assessment. But Marcos, can you tell us how did you experience all this situation?
Again, you were mentioning now, Inma, typical question or not maybe typical question. Do we want to provide a technical assessment? Because maybe we don't need it, or maybe yes. It should be a live coding session, or we send it a kind of a questionnaire with theoretical questions only, maybe also some programming thingy, or maybe nothing. Also, as I was mentioning, the possibility of live coding, no live coding, many questions, right, Inma?
Exactly.
So what was our solution to all these questions? We said, okay, as a company, yes, we want a technical assessment, and more concretely, we want a quiz. We wanted to offer, to send to our candidates a quiz for them to solve it. Why? Because we see the value for the candidates to understand what they will face from the day one. Meaning that if I'm hiring a software engineer for my team, and we are working in microservices in Kubernetes over event-driven architecture, what I will provide in that quiz is exactly that. I want to test that, nothing else. The person will work with algorithm. No, why should I send algorithm? I'm looking for a software engineer. That's by default for me. I really need for this person to understand what it's going to take. What is the position about? Right, Inma?
Exactly. even from the talent acquisition team, we encourage that the technical assessment should be understood by candidates. What this means? Candidates has to be able to understand the reason why we send this home exercise, the purpose of this exercise, and what we expect from this exercise in terms or related to their skills. At the end of the day, the technical assessment should be a mirror where the candidates can see their future tasks and responsibilities if they finally join the team.
Mirror, another interesting word you will see later. And this picture is because of something I was mentioned before, the keys. Another question, do we want a different keys for the different teams that we have in the Madrid office, because we have kind of 5, 6 teams in the Madrid office? No, we saw that having different keys made us inefficient. So we join everything in one single keys to be sent. Why? Because with this, again, we saw that we are more efficient. Being more efficient means you are faster. And we are in hypergrowth, and you have to hire fast. Fast and good. Those are the keywords. But, there is always a but. Unified, precious, lovely. However, the feedback that we got is too long. It was taking too long for the candidates to fulfill these keys, right? And again, we have to hire fast. It's not, maybe it's not, let's say, possible to ask to a person, hey, this is the keys, and it will take 1 weekend for this person to fulfill it. Maybe another company is faster, more efficient once again, and provides another technical assessment and is faster, boom, this person is hired by the competence and you are lost. You lost the candidate. So we have to improve this. What was the solution? Make it simple. Yes, it's possible. We struggle a lot, but we figured out how to make one keys unified and simple, right, Inma?
Totally. We decide to reduce the technical assessment and extend the technical interview. So at this stage, our colleagues from the team were being able to assess the candidates' tech skills and dig deeper into their experience. So as a solution, we got a balance between sending a technical assessment, a home exercise, and being able to assess properly the candidate tech skills.
So it seems simple because it was simple. Look, it works. Perfect. Lovely. So maybe we can do kind of a checklist for the audience for the first challenge to summarize a little bit this in terms of solutions, Inma. No, not in my mind. In this case, it's me that I will tell this to the audience. So technical assessment. Yes, for us worked. Actually, it's working pretty well. Unified, very important as well. Third point about focus on the things that these candidates will have to face from day one. Expectations, another keyword that you will hear before, right? The person will work in algorithm? No, don't send an algorithm in your keys. It doesn't make any sense, right? And look for potential. Potential, another keyword. Keep it in mind as well.
Totally. And about another challenge, as we told you already, we have a problem with communication between both departments. So we needed to solve and fix this problem to hire faster and more efficiently. In this case, from the talent acquisition team, we realized that we didn't understand at all the work daily task from the engineering department. And if we wanted to jump to the next level, in terms of hiring, we needed to know and learn more about their tasks, their responsibilities, their mission related to the product roadmap, and not only taking account about requirements like Java, microservices, AWS, and that's all. And Marcos, what do you think about this?
Oh, you were mentioning now about keywords. Look, this one was my face at some point. You know, some conversations with talent. Look, this is scenario. Talent and I started to talk, Marcos, the position that you have for your team, tell me what you need. Okay, what I need is a software engineer. We need that has experience on this, on that. But Marcos, correct me if I'm wrong. You're programming in Java, right? Yes. And you are using as well Kubernetes and Kafka, right? Yes. Those are the technologies. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much, Marcos. That's all what I need. Perfect. That was my face as well. So at the end, I had the feeling that, as you said, Inma, the communication was not clear. We were missing something. Here, the challenge was to understand, to have an understanding between talent and engineering, and about not only technical things, which are important, of course, but also about the goal, the roadmap. Okay, why we need this role? What is the roadmap? What is the delivery? What is the product that we will put in place? Right, Inma?
Exactly. So what we decided was to meet and put all our obstacles, problems, concerns together. And engineering and TA teams realized that most part of our problems were quite similar or even the same. So if we approach them together, it would be better, and it would be working in a faster way, indeed. This action sounds really simple, to be honest, but it changed completely our concept of hiring, because in the previous stage, let's say, we hire like individual sport, yes. And we decided to change it to teamwork. So these conversations help us to understand better the engineering department in general, their tasks, their responsibilities, and why we should hire fastly to achieve the product roadmaps we had.
Exactly. It took a while, eh?
It took
but
a while.
We made it. We made it. Okay. So this challenge is one of the let's say, the most important one and the most, let's say, difficult ones. Maybe we can do a checklist about, takeovers.
Yeah, this is our list. I'm sorry because a part of the presentation is cut, but basically we decide to schedule weekly meetings. They are not too long, to be honest. It's around 15 minutes. It's just to keep a line. We create channels and chats with hiring managers and quiz reviewer, because I'm sure my colleagues from the TA team know how hard it is to schedule a meeting with 3-4 people for a technical interview or for a panel interview. And we organize 5 minutes call after hiring interviews to share our feedback on the candidate and our experience during these interviews, and finally ask why in every meeting. But this why doesn't try to challenge the technical recruiter or challenge the hiring manager. It's more focused on understanding the logic behind that feedback or that opinion.
Correct. Next challenge, the question mark. Okay, we're in a situation in which the candidates already passed through talent acquisition call, technical assessment, good, so we are face to face. Now, finally face to face, during past 3 years virtually. How do you know that in reality that's the person that you need? Should you wait a little bit more? Because you have another hiring session tomorrow and another one the day before. Maybe it's better to wait and see if you have a better candidate. Or maybe I have to take this one because maybe it's the one that I need. Is the person to which I want to be side by side working 8 hours per day during the whole year, thanks we have PTOs, but during the whole day, it's a cultural fit for me, it's a cultural fit for the company. Those are very, very challenging questions. Mainly when you face what I call the dilemma of the person with willingness but lack of expertise. This happened to me several times. Now I can count like at least 5, if I remember properly. What is this about? This is about you are looking for a senior software engineer. You are looking for a person that is capable to jump into a production incident with experience, understand what is needed. Which is needed is first keep calm, report what is needed to report about the situation, capable to jump into that Kubernetes cluster, execute the commands, understand what is behind that microservice that is giving problems, access to the databases, access to the regions, and so on and so forth. But what you have in front of you during the interview is not that. What you have in interview is something like this, a person with that face, which means a lot of hungry, is like, Marcos, I can do this. I don't have it yet, but I have my skills, more or less, technical skills, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to face the challenges that this company is offering to me. and willing to adapt to the change, which is one of the keywords, right, about hypergrowth and so on and so forth. So what do you do in this case? I can tell you what I did in my case. I hired around the 75% of these cases. And that's just a number, okay? I will explain you in a minute what is behind that. So, rolling back a little bit, those magical questions. Is the proper fit? Is not? Is the person that I really need, technically speaking, or not?
Totally. Well, from the TA team, we encourage hiring managers to hire people based on potential, not only skills. In a hypergrowth phase, it's very important to keep this in mind. To keep an open mind and give opportunities not only as senior software engineers, but also junior and middle levels engineers. It's really important to achieve the goals we have from the talent acquisition team and from the engineering department. So in this case, potential became a hiring principle for us.
You said it, Inma. In this case, what it worked pretty well for us in order to solve this puzzle, this maze, right, was to apply what we can call the mirror technique. What is the mirror technique? You are working for a company that has a cultural establishment, let's say, a vision, a mission. So you have to be sure that the person that is in front of you fits as much as possible, even perfectly if it's possible, in terms of cultural fit. The 75% that I mentioned to you before, that I hired, even though was not the right person in terms of what I was looking for, I hired this person because it was a real cultural fit. And nowadays, I can see those persons that I hired, I remember in the University of Oviedo, hired that person that was not fitting, and nowadays we have a very solid tech lead, like 4 or 5 years ago, from that time. One of the keys. The other key as well, company values, company mission. Is this person aligned with the values of the company? Is this person aligned in the way of working in this company? Not only with this lovely marketing thing, delight people at work, which yes, but also is aligned in the way we develop. We are doing bit programming. Is this person aligned with that? Because maybe not. That is one of the keywords. Again, the 75% that I mentioned before. Why I hired? Because yes, this one as well was a check in my checklist, was aligned with the mission and the vision of the company.
Yeah, and in addition, at this stage, we have a values-based interview. This is an interview, it's a final stage we do from HR, and we assess motivation, expectations, future performance, so potential. And this is very important. We have several examples, as Marcos said, that many people we hire that after some time, they adapt successfully and they grow really fast.
Indeed. You said potential. Here, the solution for us was look for potential that is fitting with your company. So maybe we can go with a list for this.
Perfect. So as Marcos said, very important cultural fit. I mean, it's one of the main things we have to assess during the hiring process. Embracing changes. This is very important in a hypergrowth phase, especially because we are looking for people who is flexible. Everything changes almost every day in this kind of environment. Look for potential. Again, potential is a hiring principle at Nexthink, and it is something that helps us a lot in our daily work. And company alignment, communication. Don't be afraid to ask your engineering colleagues or from different departments like product to understand or better understand their mission and their duties.
Indeed. Look for potential. Embracing the changes during the hypergrowth is key. If the person that you have in front of you is not, let's say, is not willing because the person doesn't want or whatever, that's perfectly okay. But in an environment like that, embracing the changes is one of the super keys. Good. So, half an hour already. We are reaching out the end of the talk, Inma. So maybe in this case, we can start to wrap up a little bit. We can start with a list of challenges and after jump to a takeaway for the audience, right?
Perfect. Yeah, related to challenges, just to sum up, we were in a hypergrowth phase too, indeed. And we work a lot on our communication between departments. That was the key to get the successful results we got. Learn what talent and potential you're looking for, expectations, having a clear idea about the profile we are looking for. Sometimes they are unicorns, and then define clearly the potential we are looking for in junior profiles. And the main challenge, and also an objective, hire good and fast.
All the time. I remember that sentence, good and fast, fast and good, all the time. There we go.
So, as solutions, as we told you, define a flexible and clear hiring process structure was essential for us. We defined the rules we work on or we work with, and we define a structure for our hiring processes and our hiring strategy. But this strategy should be flexible enough to change it if needed. For example, the technical assessment. We change the technical assessment and we create finally an assessment that we can change if the situation needed or the hiring is slowed down or we need to speed up.
The second solution, open communication between talent and engineering. Okay, we were talking about the communication all the time, but I will give you some of clear actionables for you guys to take away from here. For example, it worked pretty well for us having a weekly meeting between talent and engineering to think about what? Feedback, how are we doing? Ask those whys that Inma was mentioning before. Having that synchronization and that close collaboration pay the bill for us. Also, it worked pretty well for us having, let's say, a post call after the face-to-face interview. Like after having the interview with a person, Inma and I, we were talking about, because after the session, your mind is fresh. You have the feelings in your mind yet. So Inma could ask, Marcos, how did you see? What about this? What about that? Inma, not clear about this. Did you ask about that? Yes, no. Okay, let's meet together and let's join the information. Other thing that really worked pretty well for us, open a Slack channel. Yes, another Slack channel. You have 100 of them, one more. It's gonna be, I would say, not so painful, but maybe yes. But again, we'll pay the bill. Why? In that channel, you have to put talent acquisition assigned to your positions, and the team from engineering that will work doing the analysis of the cases, and that will participate in the hiring process in terms of face-to-face interviews. Because with that, you avoid bottlenecks. Talent could reach directly, guys, please review this case. Give me feedback when you have it. Guys, we have this interview in 2 days. Anything to share, anything to collaborate, and so on and so forth. Really, really good thing.
Totally. All these practices help us to avoid miscommunication and better understand each other.
Indeed. Third, reconsider your initial step for a candidate. What I'm talking about, expectations. I was mentioning before, the keys. Send what you really want this person to be capable to do. If you need somebody with experience with microservices, Kubernetes, and event-driven architectures, send a kiss about that, nothing else.
Totally. Related to this point, as we have to manage candidates' expectations, also we need to manage our own expectations on the role and on the candidates we find. And finally, the fourth one, potential. Again, for us it's a hiring principle, and it helps a lot because assessing the future performance of candidates, we got a really good results on the roadmap, on the product roadmap we had, and that was the final objective we had.
Potential really important. Remember the dilemma that I mentioned to you. If you see a person that is not exactly what you say, but you see that angry, that willingness to go beyond and so on, go for it. I can tell you, for us at least, worked pretty well.
So, Marcos, did you like the talk?
I love it.
Happy to hear that. So, to sum up, most part of the times, hiring is understood like a pain, to be honest, but it shouldn't be like that. We change the concept of hiring and we create a collaborative task, and it helps a lot to face all the challenges and all frustration that came up when you are hiring indeed.
So, it has been a pleasure. I want to formally introduce Inma Jimenez Garcia, Senior Technical Recruiter. You can find Inma in LinkedIn by her name, and also you can see here her email.
Marcos Fermín Lobo, he's a Senior Software Engineer and Tech Lead. To be honest, one of my favorite hiring managers, as you can imagine. And you can find him on LinkedIn. He has a newsletter, very interesting topics, so you can sign up on his Twitter account. And now it's your time. I don't think they can scan this QR.
Let's see if I can move it.
We would love to hear your feedback and tell us about your opinion, if the topics we discussed were interesting, if you are in the same situation or a different situation, but the points were useful for you. At the end of the day, feedback is a gift.
However, you can reach us if you are not able to scan it. If I'm able to move it, you will see it. However, we are available in the social media, or we can talk here. We will be here around. Yeah. So, thank you very much for your attendance. It has been a pleasure. Yeah, see you soon.
So, I've been tasked with writing that quiz, and I was wondering, how did you go about it? I mean, is it multiple choice questionnaire? Is it something that you got in-house? So you didn't go for off-the-shelf? You say yes to everything?
No. I'm saying that I understand because indeed I've been there. So what we did something homemade. What I say again, in our case, and this is a real case, we are implementing microservices in a Kubernetes environment for an event-driven architecture. So what we sent, at the beginning, we sent a kit of 2 exercises, but it was too long. Yeah. So we summarized in one single exercise, technical exercise. What was about? I need a repository, a project, implemented, at the beginning was either in Java or Python, but at the end we decided only Java because it's the main language that we are using in the company. Implemented in Java, you can use Gradle or Maven, whatever you want. And should expose an API that behind the scene is able to read the information from a Kafka topic and send it back. Plus points if you are able to deploy that via Docker, and plus if you are able to do that in a Kubernetes environment. Like I can run it in my Minikube or whatever, you have more points in that case. So literally what I said to you is what we did. Something homemade because what? That was exactly what we were doing at that time.
And something that is very important, we don't reject people who don't complete the extra points. That is something that usually happens in the engineering team. In the main challenge we prepare, we can see the different skills we are looking for. If the candidate fill out the extra points, amazing, but many times they don't have the right thing to do. So we prefer to give an opportunity to someone who can surprise us instead of rejecting someone because of this person didn't fill out the extra points we put.
And about this, an addition note about this, at the beginning, we didn't have pretty clear what to rank at the time of reviewing. Should I rank unit testing only? Or for me, it's a must to have component tests as well? Or no, I don't really care about testing. If the code is magic, who cares? So at the end, we had to sit together, the engineering team, and said, okay, let's get an agreement that yes, unit testing is mandatory. Yes, component test is optional, but +1. Integration test, +1, etc., etc., etc. It's really important because at the end of the day, once again, unify get agreement, you are more efficient. You can delegate the responsibility of check whatever keys to whatever member of your team. You go fast. More questions?
First of all, thanks for the talk. Second, sorry for my English, which is awesome. A question for Inma, for her professional experience. What do you think? Could you adapt these lessons in a consulting company or only for a product company? In Spanish, right?
Yeah, no, totally. Really good question indeed. I think it's easier in a product company, for sure, because your stakeholders work with you. In a consultancy, being really honest, I think it's difficult depending on the consultancy, because I remember many years ago I worked at a consultancy firm too, and I didn't get in touch of my hiring managers, so I can put in place all these strategies or all these hiring practices. However, if you are able to talk to these hiring managers, probably not all of them, but put in place some of them, like for example weekly meetings, increase the communication with them. I think it could be really helpful. Indeed, in a consultancy, communication even would be more important than, well, without any comparison, but than in a product company, because they work in a different product, in a different work environment.
One thing to add on top that maybe could help as well. At the end, one thing that we have in our company and the relation that we have is that we have ownership. So we are able to work, let's say, autonomously and do whatever we consider that is worth it to achieve the goal. We have to deliver a roadmap, which means that we need more people to do what? To do this. So let's figure it out, you and me, how to achieve the goal that the CTO plus management or whatever they put in your plate. If in a consultancy you are able to have that ownership, I believe that's something that could work.
And if you work with other technical recruiters, I don't know if this is your case, I will try to improve the communication with technical recruiters directly, like asking them about if they are aware of the engineering department, their tasks, their duties, and so on. I don't know if this is helpful or not.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks to you.
Please.
Thanks for your talk. I have a couple of related questions. The first one being, did you manage in any way feedback to those candidates that weren't hired at the end?
And we were really strict with that because we realized one of the things that make candidates piss off is not receiving feedback, and that's a sign, to be honest.
That's a bad sign for your company. So.
Yeah, for example, from my side, I always provide feedback. However, I always encourage hiring managers to share feedback directly. For final candidates, we had, in the situation, 2 candidates in the final stage, and we finally decide to move forward with one of them, and the other one we have to reject because there is no other place. Well, Marcus knows very well, I always encourage the hiring manager to give feedback to this person directly, like, we couldn't hire you because there is no another place, and we decide to take this decision because this another person has more experience in blah, 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 blah. And also, something that it was really helpful, we offer candidates to have a first introductory call with the hiring manager, the first screen call with TA, and we offer another step, a call with the hiring manager to see if the work environment, if the technical skills we are looking for fit with the candidate's expectations. And this final call related to feedback. But I can tell you this is mandatory for me, at least as professional. After a technical assessment, I always send feedback. If the person prefers to receive an email, I prepare this email and I send it. And if the person prefers to be called, I call this person. And at final stages, I always prefer the hiring manager do that. But, well, you saw the Marcos agenda. Sometimes it couldn't happen, so I do.
And on the other hand, the question on this timeline, you mentioned hire fast. Did you manage also a scenario where you had like this let go fast because you were able to assess some traits in the candidate that were shown afterwards, and the candidate left the company just weeks after hiring him, or do you have like a success rate of 100% in those candidates?
How do you measure success? That would be my question. From our hiring strategy in general, we prefer to spend 1-2 weeks more and having a clear idea that this is the person we want in the team, instead of hiring fast someone that we have some doubts, and finally this person will leave the company, I don't know, 2 months later. So, of course, I think it's more TA responsibility that to slow down, try to solve any doubts, put in place questions that are not really comfortable, and try to manage the pressure that engineering department used to bear on their shoulders. I don't know if I...
Actually, to comment on that, yes, we have to hire fast. The thing is that we are parallelizing a lot. That calendar is true. It's not just a meme. Was really true. What we are doing in parallel, but as Inma said, we take our time, right? So what happened sometimes was that the candidate decided to go to another company because yes, we had some questions and so on and so forth. But some of them were like on a stream, like pam, pam, pam. I remember, I think when we hired Sanchez, Rojo, and I don't remember who, in 1 month, like boom, like three persons in a row, right? So we had that feeling that the people that we didn't hire was because to the other company, but the amount of people that were hired and now they are still in the company is a very huge percentage. I cannot tell you 100%, but I can tell you that it's pretty close with the strategies that we put in place. So far, so good, I can tell you.
Thank you.
More questions, please?
I'm wondering, first, thanks for the talk, it was very dynamic, I loved it. What was the role of the team, like the software engineering team, during the hiring process? And when I read the title, I expected, like, maybe you sat all together and you did the interviews all together. From what you said, it looks like some of them might have joined the technical interviews. I would like to know.
That's a good question. So we balance a little bit, okay? Yes, the software engineers were participating in the review of the keys of the candidates and participating in the interviews, in the face-to-face interviews. Yes, I was in the 90% of the interviews. Me, not me, I mean, another person and me, okay, in that thing. So typically 2 persons in that call. Was a technical session, so software engineer plus me, and technical questions and so on and so forth. So in that case, yes, the software engineers were involved. Also were involved in that communication channel that I was mentioning before. Inma was saying, guys, I have a new case done, please review. And my peers were taking, okay, take a look, pim pam pum, Inma, this is our review, put it in the smart recruiters, Inma take it, take the analysis, okay. This is a go, let's go for the interview, and so on and so forth. So yes, they were involved from the beginning. More questions? Please?
Thank you. Thanks for the talk. Do you send assessments to everyone, regardless of their experience in every? Because some people I know that feel challenged or offended when they see I have 10 years. Kubernetes, you should keep it for granted, because I have a colleague now that doesn't even know Docker and very happy with this environment. People 20 years of experience in OpenStack, and they're like, okay, and he's not performing.
I love that question.
Well,
please start.
Just quickly,
I will continue.
As we told you, our structure and rules are flexible. I had this case recently indeed, not with Marcos. I'm sorry, there are more hiring managers, but it was a really strong candidate indeed, and he has a lot of experience, and we decided to prepare a longer technical interview, do a live coding exercise, but more focused on pair programming and architecture. So again, flexibility, but clear structure. Why we are skipping the rules? That's the main question I would do if I was your TA partner, to be honest.
So for me, answering that question, if passes the talk with the talent, because we already agree, we know each other, we think the same, yes. Why? You maybe can tell me, Marcos, but maybe this profile is more junior. Maybe it's too much for that person. No, again, the dilemma that I mentioned to you. Maybe it's a person that is willing to face that challenge right now and demonstrate to you, Marcos, I'm here. Maybe I'm not the best, but I'm here and I'm willing to learn. Do I know Kubernetes? No. Inma asked me for Kubernetes. I tell her no. Take my keys with Kubernetes. Works perfectly. I don't know. It works. Take a look. It's your job to analyze the keys. So my answer is yes. Send it. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. And about the different adaptation and flexibility as well. One thing that was missing during the presentation, keys or live coding. This is my personal perception. Live coding, as Inma was mentioning, I see really worth it when you are looking for more seniority roles, like tech leads, staff engineers, something like that. Why? Because live coding is pretty similar to peer programming. In peer programming, you need communication skills. You have to tell, hey, I'm doing this class, I'm doing this controller, we'll call this service, that at the end will use this HTTP client to call this API. You have to communicate, and that's a skill that you need for these kind of roles. Need proper communication, of course, technical skills as well.